Kachenu, NamRA nchi yetu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA nchi yetu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA nchi yetu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA nchi yetu.
NamRA, serving with passion.
Hello and welcome to this edition of NamRA Kachenu, where the focus is more on tax, customs and excise matters. I'm Shipena Jambi Kuhanga and I'm delighted to be your host for the next half an hour or so. In today's episode, NamRA and the NIPDB signs an MOU. NamRA donates medical supplies to the Ministry of Health and Social Services. Last but not the least, public education continues at the Namibia University of Science and Technology. All that and more coming up shortly. On the 12th of September 2024, the Namibia Revenue Agency and the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board signed a landmark memorandum of understanding aimed at enhancing tax compliance and fostering an environment that encourages foreign direct investment in Namibia. Now, with this partnership, both entities seek to create a streamlined system that benefits investors while adhering to Namibia's tax regulations, thus marking a significant step in strengthening the country's economic landscape.
Not about the signature, it's about the action that follows the signature. And therefore, thank you very much, Commissioner. Thank you to your board. Thank you to the team that is here. Thank you, Jessica, also to you and your team for making sure that we drive this relationship and that we reach this day. Thank you.
With us, it's not only about signing, it's making sure that system, processes, resources are in place so that you deliver. You do not want to have an MOU and after 1 year you look backward and say what has been achieved, what has happened, and nothing had happened. And those are the things that we wanted to iron out because we needed to ensure that as well the MOU is in line with the provision, in compliance with the provision of our enabling legislature as well. And I think that has been finalized. And I was just very, very happy the first day when I heard that it has been cleared from our legal colleague, WhatsApp, Menangula, just to give her that good news. So I'm very, very happy that this day we are finally here.
The Ministry of Health and Social Services recently received a donation for medical supplies worth 62,000 Namibian dollars. Now, the supplies were handed over by Mr. Ebner David, who serves as the Senior Manager for Border Control and Operational Compliance at NamRA. Now, the supplies were aimed to assist within Namibia's health sector. The donation, which was made in accordance with the Customs and Excise Act number 20 of 1998, consisted of goods forfeited from traders who failed to comply with the legal requirements, thus reinforcing the importance of adhering to Namibia's customs regulations.
The items we are handing over today have been in NamRA's state warehouse for close to 2 years, having been seized and detained from traders at various points of entry, such as Osea Kutako International Airport, Eros Airport, the Trans-Kalahari Border Post, and other points of entries, and also from the enforcement operations conducted in the country and in Central Region. These goods were confiscated as a result of non-compliance with Section 14 of the Customs and Excise Act. Section 14 basically requires or compels all importers of any goods into Namibia to declare them.
I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to everyone involved in making this donation possible. The support of NamRA enables us to continue our mission of providing exceptional medical care and addressing the health needs of our community affected. On behalf of the ministry, I assure you that this equipment will be utilized with the utmost care and will make a significant impact on our ability to deliver quality health care services. Thank you once again for your invaluable contribution and continued partnership in advancing healthcare to our nation. I thank you.
NamRA remains committed to educating the public, now with its latest outreach taking place at the Namibia University of Science and Technology. The focus of the session was on critical topics such as the consequences for smuggling goods and the procedure for the importation of goods of non-commercial value, as well as the necessary documents to ensure compliance with Namibian tax laws.
Warmly welcome all of you today for the NamRA educational session. A special welcome goes out to all our students, our customs and exercise officers.
Remember, declaration of the truth of such entry. I will elaborate more on it later on. So what are the supporting documents when we talk about the declaration of goods? What is required to the agent?
Okay, moving on. Goods, in the opinion of the commissioner. So, if the commissioner states in a written notice that goods are of no commercial.
The question is, if you have registered with card or whatever process that is, I'm sorry I didn't hear it well, is that all you need?
If you are importing, yes, a firearm requires a license from the Namibian province.
Yeah, second-hand goods also. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah,
How does
second-hand.
the process differ between commercial imports and non-commercial items in terms of customs checks and duties?
On customs declaration. So once the parcel arrives, be it at the border or maybe at the airport, all the documentations are in place. And that will also enable us to do the clearance as fast as we can. I believe I have addressed.
After the break, we'll be joined by Ms. Sirkka Masilo, who serves as the Manager for Tax Systems and Customer Service at NamRA. Welcome back. Joining us now in the studio is Ms. Sirkka Masilo, who is the Manager for Tax Systems and Customer Service. Ms. Masilo, it's indeed an honor to have you join us today, and a very warm welcome to NamRA Kachenu.
Thank you, Shupe, for having me.
Now, can we kick off this session with you giving us a brief overview of your duties and key responsibilities as a Manager for Tax Systems?
To start with, my responsibility to manage the tax system, day-to-day operations, and to ensure that the system is fully optimized and it's enhanced. I lead a team of 9 officials that comprises of 3 senior tax officers and also 6 tax officers. So it now includes us to oversee the implementation of business requirements that also includes the tax policy, as well as some of the recommendations that are provided based on the international communities and also requirements given by the business. So I'm responsible to provide guidance and support to the team to ensure that they give assistance to the users when they have issues effectively. I'm responsible to make sure that management reports are provided. I do analyze them and provide insight that inform strategic decisions and also policy decisions. I serve as a liaison between business, which is domestic tax departments, and mostly people that use the ITAS, and also the ICT and the service provider to make sure that their issues are handled and managed promptly and are affected on the system effectively.
Now, what are some of the biggest challenges you face in managing the system, and how do you overcome them?
As you well known, and maybe it's important to understand that tax system, it's a national system. And it's one of the critical systems because it's used to collect revenue. On its own, it's become critical. And perhaps the question should be, what keeps us busy when managing tax system? And I would like to give an example of a recent amendments. So when they come out, it's our duty to make sure that ITAS is updated. So we need to have a process in place to make sure that those amendments are interpreted and the requirements are sent to the technical team to affect them on ITAS. And also the other issue that make it difficult for us, challenging, is the data. As you know, the data, it's one of the critical aspects when managing the tax system. ITAS data, it's migrated from the old system. So managing it, we need to put some validation in place to make sure that the data is accurate and can be reliable. And also the other aspect is to make sure that the end users are well trained to be able to use the system. And that requires us to put a training program in place so that we continue our training our end user to know how to use the system.
You mentioned earlier that you are spearheading a department of 10 officials, right? Now, do you think that these officials are enough to assist you in managing a system of such magnitude? Imagine now we are serving the Namibian nation at large. And what are you currently also doing to enhance their skill set?
In terms of skills, my team is well equipped.
Amazing.
But I think the challenge could be the overworking, the overload. Because as you can really see, most of the time the team is it's very busy, 24/7, and that maybe require us to increase the team, the structure, so that we have enough staff members to deal with the system issue, to make sure that we focus on system improvements.
Amazing. Now, how do you ensure data accuracy and compliance with your tax systems?
When it comes to data accuracy, as I mentioned earlier, that data accuracy is one of the critical areas, and we have validation in place that build on the system to make sure that when the data is captured, it runs through some data validation. We also have audits in the system, built in the system, to make sure that the data meets the requirements. And in some instances, when we changes are made on the system, we do a thorough testing. And that testing has to be verified and before it get updated on the live system. And also to make sure that the end users are properly trained to understand and know the requirements of the system.
Now, we all know that technology keeps the world moving, right? What role does it actually play in enhancing customer service experience within your department specifically?
The ITAS itself is an automated system. It's make it easy for us to provide instant service to taxpayers. So the main objective when ITAS was implemented is to streamline the processes and also to make sure that the system provide the efficient and effective service to taxpayers. So ITAS is a system that is available 24/7 to taxpayers. It's a system that can be accessed anywhere in the world. So it allows taxpayer to access it anytime, anywhere. And taxpayer can file, taxpayer can submit different requests. This is only because of technology that really make it easy for us to provide efficient service to our taxpayers.
True. Now, how do you ensure security and the accuracy of data within the ITAS portal specifically?
When you access ITAS, we have implemented what you call access security. So that makes sure that only authorized users can access ITAS. And also, when the data is transmitted, moved from the portal site where taxpayer can have access to our system, it's encrypted in a way that you don't cannot be accessed to unauthorized users.
Okay.
So those are some of the measures that are in place. And also we do run some validation, data checks, just to make sure that the data is not altered and they remain accurate internal from our unit. And also we have a security team under ICT that on a regular basis they do conduct audit check or security check, and also vulnerability assessment, just to identify and make sure that they are proactive in terms of mitigating the security check, the security threat. So those are some of the measures that we have in place to make sure that the data is secure, and also that can only be accessed to authorized users.
Thank you so much for that, for the insights, Ms. Masilo. Now, before we close off this session, any final remarks to our viewers that you would like to share?
Our core duties is to enhance ITAS, and then we cannot do that alone. So I would like to urge everyone, the users of ITAS, to optimally use ITAS to its fullest potential. ITAS has many functionalities that enable whether internal users or external users to use it and get the benefit out of it. So, for example, taxpayers, they do not necessarily need to visit our offices unless absolutely necessary, because the portal on its own allows them to register, it allows them to submit returns, it allows them to view their certain information and also to update their basic information. So once we, as I said, we need input from the users to update our system, we always welcome those input when you see there's a certain process that needs to be improved. So finally, I really would like to urge every ITAS user to embrace our technology and use the system to its fullest potential.
Thank you so much, Ms. Masilo. Once again, it's been a pleasure having you on the show today.
Thank you, Shipe, for having me.
Thank you. Now that wraps our discussion with Ms. Sirkka Masilo, the Manager for Tax Systems and Customer Service. We'll be back shortly. Now let's turn our attention on the procedures for the importation of goods of non-commercial value.
Good day, my name is Johanna Amkushu. I'm from the Namibia Revenue Agency. Today we are going to discuss the procedures when importing goods of no commercial value. Section 14 of the Customs and Excise Act 20 of 98 implies that all imports and exports shall be declared. However, have you ever wondered which category of goods should be within the no commercial value? They are as follows. We have containers temporarily imported, human remains, we have goods declared under the international carnet, as well as goods that are less than 500 in Namibian dollars, and of which no duty is payable in terms of Schedule 1. This particular category of goods, they require minimal documentation, of which the traders are expected to fill in the NamRA form. They are expected to provide certificates or other permits when necessary, as well as an international carnet. For more information, you may request or you may visit or any Customs and Excise office countrywide. Thank you very much for listening.
In our next segment, we'll focus on currency declaration.
My name is Betty Mabuna, Senior Customs and Excise Officer at Ngoma Border Post, Northeastern Region. Today we are going to talk about currency declaration at designated ports of entry and exit. In terms of exchange control and customs regulations, all travelers should declare local or foreign currency when leaving or exiting Namibia. Declaration should be made to a Customs and Excise officer according to Section 40 or 41 of the Customs and Excise Act number 20 of 1998 as amended, by completing a prescribed declaration form with the proof of the origin of the funds. Travelers may import or export Namibian dollars or South African rand banknotes to the value of 25,000 Namibian dollar per individual when traveling outside Namibia. In terms of Section 36 of the Financial Intelligence Act number 13 of 2012, determine the threshold in respect of cross-border movement of cash or negotiation bearer instrument as 100,000 or equivalent thereof in foreign currency. In terms of the exchange control, foreigners, visitors, there are restrictions when re-exporting foreign banknotes. Foreign visitors should meet certain criteria, such as providing proof that they imported such currency into Namibia. For example, original customs declaration showing the amount of the currency, receipt from the authorized dealers confirming the purchasing of such currency, or documentation issued by a foreign dealer providing withdrawal or bank transfer, but may not export more than 25,000 Namibian dollars in banknotes. In conclusions, it is the responsibility of the traveler, importer, exporter, or to declare cash or bearer negotiable instrument equals to or above 100,000. Thank you.
Next, we'll take you through the procedures on how to submit objections and appeals.
Good day, my name is Puye Ipawa Mwaitako, a Senior Objection Officer at the Objection Unit. Today I am going to share with you on how to lodge a tax objection or a customs appeal. How to lodge a tax objection? You normally lodge a tax objection when you have received a notice of assessment within 90 days. Should you object after 90 days, then your objection should be accompanied by a condonation letter, which is issued by the legal department. How to submit an objection on ITAS portal. Step 1. Log on to your ITAS portal account. Step 2. Click on Other Services. Step 3. Click the button of Objections and Appeal. In this window, complete the fields as desired. Step 4. Indicate the submission source. Step 5. Click the search button, the button below. Select the period you are objecting. Should you have more than one period, repeat the process for each period. Remember to attach all the relevant documents such as the letter of objection, clearly stating your reasons or grounds of objection, and indicate the period or periods in query. A condonation letter should also be attached should you be objecting after 90 days of assessment, and all the relevant information to support your ground of objection. How to lodge your customs appeals. Kindly scan and email all your relevant documents to the email below, objectionscontrol@namra.org.na. Thank you.
Here is the trivia of duties.
Did you know? Transfer duty is a tax levied on value of property acquired by any person. Rates are charged depending on the value of that property.
Saving with Passion.
Do you need to make a payment for tax debt? Well, here are the available options for payment.
My name is Angela Kamui, Senior Revenue Treasury Officer at NamRA. I'm going to take you through the process of making payments to our NamRA offices. We have 4 modes of payments which are acceptable at our offices, which are direct deposits, cash payments, electronic fund transfers, and speed points machines. When making electronic fund transfers, we have 2 accounts available for our taxpayers, which is Receiver of Revenue, account 165001, and the VAT dedicated account 165060. When making a direct deposit, our taxpayers need to fill this deposit slip at their commercial bank. You need to have your TIN with you. The TIN consists of 8 characters, and then you should also know the period that you are making the payment for. When making an electronic fund transfer, for your penalty or interest liability due to NamRA, you use the EFT referencing example as shown on the screen. It also has 19 characters, but on the text type and text period, you put 999, indicating that the payment is account payment. When making electronic fund transfers, EFT referencing example is shown on the screen, which comprises of 19 characters. The taxpayer reference number comprises of 5 parameters, which are as follows. 1. Represent the payment method, in this case, EFT payment. 06. Office of registration or your return office. The 8th character represents your tax identification number. 14 is tax type, in this case, employees tax. 2018-06 is the tax period for which the payment is meant for.
In the previous episode, we asked, what is the NamRA call center number and when was it launched? Here's the answer. The NamRA call center number is 081 959 4000. The call center number was launched on 15 March 2024. Here's a question for this episode. What are the procedures to be followed for currency declaration? Kindly send your answer to NamRA Kachenu at namra.org.na. The due date for submission is the 10th of October 2024. The winner will be announced in the next episode.
And with that, we conclude this edition of NamRA Kachenu. We trust that the information shared has been both valuable and insightful. Join us again in 2 weeks' time for the latest updates. But until then, stay informed and compliant. Before we close off, here's how you can calculate your tax refund from your employer for the 2025 financial year.
We're going to make use of the old tax table and then we'll move over to the new tax table. In this scenario, we're saying that the person's basic monthly salary is $36,122.08. And we're saying that the person's taxable housing allowance is $6,500. Now your gross income will then be your basic salary plus your allowance. In this case, it will be $36,122.08 plus your $6,500, which will amount to $42,622.08. In order to get your taxable income, you need to take your gross income less your allowable deductions. In this case, is your pension contribution, which is an amount of $2,528.55. So your taxable income will be $42,622.08 less your $2,528.55, which will be $40,093.53 per month. That is your taxable income per month. Now we want to know what will be my taxable income per year. Now you then will take your $36,122.08, which is your basic salary per month, times 12, which will give you $433,464.96. You then again will take your taxable housing allowance of $6,500 per month times 12, which will be $78,000. Your gross income then will be $511,464.96, which is your basic salary of $433,464.96 plus your $78,000. Now we then said that in order to get your taxable income, it will be your gross income less your allowable deduction. In this case, which is your pension contribution. Your pension contribution per month is $2,528.55. And in order to get your pension contribution per year, you will then take $2,528.55 times 12, which will give you $30,342.60. Now your taxable income per year will be your $511,464.96, which is your gross income, less your $30,342.60, which is your pension contribution, which will then give you a $481,122.36. So your taxable income per year in this scenario is a $481,122.36. Now that we know what our taxable liability is, we then go to our tax table. In this case, which is the all tax table. When you go to your tax table, on the left, you will see the taxable amount. And on the right, it says rates of tax. Now your taxable amount is $481,122.36. Now you then have to check in which bracket do you fall. You will see that you fall in a bracket that says that it exceeds a 300,000 but does not exceed a 500,000. Now let's make use of the rates of tax. We then take the $481,122.36 minus a 300,000. You will then get $181,122.36. You multiply that by 28%. You will then get $50,714.26. You take the $50,714.26 and then you add a 59,000. You'll then get $109,714.26. That will be your taxable liability for the year. Meaning on a taxable income of $481,122.36, you're supposed to pay tax of $109,714.26. Now, how much will I pay monthly on that amount? You will take $109,714.26 and divide that by 12, which will give you $9,142.89, meaning on a monthly basis, you're supposed to pay $9,142.89. We'll now make use of the new tax rates or the new tax table. Our taxable income remains at $481,122.36 as calculated previously. When we go to the new tax table, you'll then see that you fall in the bracket that says that your income exceeds a $350,000 but does not exceed a $550,000. Your tax rates remains as it was. Let's get calculating. Your taxable income, we said, was $481,122.36. So you will take $481,122.36 and deduct a $350,000. You will then get $131,122.36. You multiply $131,122.36 by 28%. You'll then get $36,714.26. You will then add a $59,000 to the $36,714.26. Your taxable liability or your tax payable per year on an income of $481,122.36 as per the new tax table will be a $95,714.26. How do I calculate my monthly tax liability or tax payable? You will then take your $95,714.26 and divide that by 12. What then is the difference between what I was paying previously on the old tax rate and what I'm paying now on the new tax rate? If you can remember, your monthly tax liability on the old tax rate was a $9,142.89. And your tax liability, your monthly tax liability on the new tax rate is $7,976.19. The difference is $1,166.70. So you'll be paying $1,166.70 lesser than what you were paying previously.
you.